Pretty awesome.
hmm
Okay. Hello, everyone. We both where's that go? How does that work? Okay. How does that repeat after me? Hold on, everyone. This is new for me. Ah, hang on. Okay, Mike, I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure.
Hello, everyone. This is very new for me this time, trying the new function on this platform. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hello, Michael. Hope you're doing well.
Indeed, I am, Julie. Hello, hello.
Pretty awesome. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for coming on here to join with us today. Today is Monday, again, October 9th, 2023. We're excited to be here because there are so many things going on in Unpassive and so many things is going on in our lives individually together. This whole entire um time that we are in today. I'm actually very excited, and the topic that we wanted to discuss today and we want to chat about, it's absolutely um I believe it's a very powerful topic, and that topic is attitude and gratitude. So let's start our show today, Michael, talking about the attitude, because I believe attitude is the most powerful thing that one's can hold. Your attitude could make it in a company or break it. Could be a successful individuals if you have a really good attitude toward everything that come at your way, or it could make you have a terrible life. So it's really depend on the attitude that we all have. So let's start with that, Michael. What's your attitude today?
Well, the fact that we're matching, Julie, like, wow, that's incredible. Um, didn't see that coming, but that's great. Attitude, wow. I'm just excited, Julie. I'm so positive, so pumped up. Because every day on this journey just keeps getting better and better, and a lot of times there are unseen things happening, but if you trust, if you believe, if you understand what it takes to put this all together, then your attitude is always positive, right? You're always excited and in anticipation of what's next, right? What will be the next stop? What will be the next partnerships? Where will we go from here? Because we know that it's always going to be higher and higher and higher. It's been said, that your attitude can define your altitude, right? And I believe that statement, and it is something that is true, not just in business, but even in your personal life. If you're involved in extracurricular activities such as sports, etc., it's the same thing. Imagine you being on a team and you have a crappy attitude. Like, who wants to be around you, right? If you're just a me, I kind of person, like, who wants to be around you? If you're at a party, you're socializing, right? And you just have a crappy attitude. Again, you're just going to bring everything down. You're going to be a buzz killer, right? So I always try to be as positive as possible, not to over exaggerate or to hype anything up, but always finding the best in people, because no matter what the circumstance is, Julie, you can always take away something. If my children are playing a game, and let's take basketball for example, and they lose, 100-20, just as an example. I mean, I'm going to find, what was the positive within, the 20 points that they scored. What was the positive, throughout the game that we can take away. You know what I mean? And impart that to them and not focus on the negative that they lost, that you guys got slaughtered, you know what I mean, by 80 points or whatever, right? Always trying to find the positive. If my child has a bad game, okay, where can I find the positive within that? You know what I mean? So I really believe it's always good to have that positive attitude, regardless of what your circumstance or situation may be. And so that holds true in on passive. Right? We believe in this journey. We believe in this process. We believe in this company, right? So we're always excited because we know that this is the only chance that 99% of the people will ever have of actually changing their lives for the better. And so that's why we're always excited, Julie.
Absolutely, Michael, and I'm glad that you brought up the point about sport, about your son playing sport, your children play sport. Attitude is everything. I could use another example. My daughter, who just played her volleyball, this would be her second year. Actually, yeah, second year. I would consider playing for the school. Um, the whole entire team attitude at that time, when they found out that they play against another school that was very good, right? And their attitude was like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose for sure. That mindset, that attitude that they take toward that news. And I have to literally snap them out of what they're saying and say, listen, guys, there's no way we're going to change this. It's already, decisions have already made. You're going to be playing against the team. What is your attitude right now walking into that game while you're playing with them, right? You either have an attitude of, no, we're going to lose, they're too good. What about you have an attitude of say, hey, no matter what you are, who you are, how good you are, but if I can have an attitude that I'm going to play the best and I'm going to have the best game, then that's totally different. And when you change your attitude, not only that, you change the mood around the teammate, not only that, you're changing the entire game. And walking out of that game, instead of losing pathetically, they actually only was under about 5 points, right? So it's all about the attitude, what we're taking in now. We understand that this is a very beginning of On Passive launching its O Connect product. What is our attitude looking at its early launching right now? We either said, oh, well, I still have a problem, or we said, I'm glad that I am in it, and I'm glad that some of the glitches, some of the things that we're facing, were actually helping our team to improve in the product that they're doing. So I believe attitude in everything that we do in live makes a difference of the result.
Absolutely, Julie. There's no doubt about it. I'm a big believer in just always giving your best, and then you live with the results, right? You live with the results. Doesn't matter what the results are at the end of the day. As long as I know I did, I gave it my all. I put everything into it, right? And for business, it's the same thing. If I'm doing a business, Julie, I'm giving it everything, right? Especially when I wholeheartedly believe in that business, such as on passive, right? Because I know where my belief level is in the company, in our CEO, in our staff. It's all or nothing. It's 100% everything, right? Because I know what the results are going to be. I mean, I really do, right? There's no doubt in my mind, right? Again, I've said it so many times that this company here, really is going to uplift humanity. This company is really going to help people get out of the rut that they find themselves in, right? And so if that be the case, then why not give it my all? If that be the case, Why not when I speak to people, Julie, you know what I mean? They can see it in my attitude, right? My attitude is worn on my sleeves. There's no need for me to hide it, to camouflage it, none of that stuff. Speak the truth. The truth will always prevail, no matter what the circumstances are. And you can live with yourself, right? If I know that I've done everything I possibly can to help you, then whatever the results is that comes from that, I can live with it. I can go to bed, I can sleep at night, I feel great. You know what I mean? If I'm doing everything to take care of my family, I'm happy with whatever results my family is achieving, right? Because that's all you can do, Julie. You know what I mean? There's no need to whine or complain or to worry about things that you cannot control, right? I know what I can control and I focus on that, right? And it's always with that willing, that willing to help attitude. You know what I mean? Okay, what can I do? How can I help you? How can I assist you? How can I help you to be better than what you are? You know what I mean? How can I help you to achieve the most out of what we're involved in, and so on. And so anything I put together, it's always with that in mind, right? Is this going to help other people? Because if it helps a lot of people, Julie, I don't need to worry about myself. It's already taken care of. This company, if the company puts out everything and do everything to help as many as possible, the company's taken care of without even have to think about itself, right? And that's what is so exciting about this business, Julie, is that we know that our CEO, we know that the entire team is hard at work. We can jump on social media and see some of the buzz that's going on. You know what I mean? It's not a secret, right? It is out there and we can see it, right? And so again, the anticipation is building. It's building, it's building, it's building. When our CEO comes now and shares some of the exciting news with us, we already knew it was a done deal. You know what I mean? We're already there in anticipation, knowing that it's just going to keep getting better and better. So why have a bad attitude about anything in life? Like why? It's just not necessary. If I'm in a relationship and it's just not going well or whatever, okay, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. So I just move on. You understand? And just be positive. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to be upset. You know what I mean? I just move forward, right? Because life is too short, folks. Life is too short. You know what I mean? So why not, be the best you can be at every single moment? Again, no one is perfect. So you're going to have some hiccups. You're going to have some times where it's like, you know what I mean? Because no one is perfect, right? But when that happens, you catch yourself. You catch yourself like, you know what? Why am I sad for? Why am I upset for? Why am I angry? Like, why? Why am I whining? Why am I complaining? Why? You know what I mean? Let's try and find the positive here and look for. Years ago, Julie, right? 5 years ago, 5 years and change, you know what I mean? I know what I was doing, right? I know what I was engaging, right? Building a business that's going to change people's lives. And here comes On Passive. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I don't have to be the administrator anymore, right, of a business. I can sit back, relax, and let the company do all the heavy lifting for me. I was excited about that, Julie. It took me about 30 days to figure it out, to come to my senses and realize what this thing can do for myself and my family. But once I did, Julie, there was no turning back. Just no turning back. Why? Because this is exactly what I've been looking for. To be able to get that 100% time freedom. Not just the financial aspect, but the time part of it. To be able to spend more quality time with my family, to be able to jump on a plane and go visit my son at school, go visit my daughter at school, go visit you know what I mean? Be able to do the things that we want to do without any restrictions as far as time. Because there's only 24 hours in the day that we can't change. There's only 24 hours in the day, but what do we do with it? So I choose, Julie, because it's a choice. I choose to spend my time being as positive I can in all circumstances.
Absolutely, Michael. And I love the fact that you said that, do what you can under your control, right? When literally going through in life, we're trying to reshape our life. We try to do certain things to have a better life. Truly, having the attitude of your life, having the attitude will determine what your life will be, what your future will be. All of us are coming from a situation where we've done things in life that we did not do it successfully. What is our attitude toward that? Will it be from now on it's going to happen that way, or is it going to change? How we are changing around a situation will determine how that situation will be a successful one, or that situation will be a better, more positive result, or will it be something that we have to deal with. I believe that going through, soul searching and me, really helping me having a better attitude toward the road ahead of me. Everything that we are doing in life, it's about staying in control of what we can. And things that if we cannot have control of it, we need to accept the fact that that's what is going to happen. What is our attitude toward going forward? So, talking about on passive, the attitude of our company, of our CEO, and all the executives that are working so hard on this is make it happen to uplift humanity, to have so many of us involved. So, what is our, as the users of the product, what is our attitude as leaders, as an individuals? What is our attitude toward things that happen in our life? Whatever it is, our decision, whether or not you choose to blame someone or we choose to accept the fact and changing our attitude around it, I believe it gives us a clearer future.
Yeah, definitely, Julie. Right? I mean, I let me see. When we look at on passive, right? It isn't about one particular product, right? Right now, we know we have O Mail, we have O Trim, we have O Net, right? We have O Connect, right? So it's not just one particular product. It's not all about O Connect, right? It's about all that we have. It's not just about right now, as in here and now, but it's also about the future. We have to look at the totality of our business, right? Look at everything, folks, and understand that if you were in another company, what would you be required to do? You would be required to either create your own systems, to be able to sell something, be able to, go out there and have to, bang on people's door, family, friends, neighbors, whomever, come buy this with me, come join this company. This is the old model, Julie. And we have proven time and time again that it doesn't work for the majority of people. It just doesn't. And some people are stuck in their ways. Some people still want to have that model, right? Now, Julie, if something doesn't work, I don't want it. I don't want it if it doesn't work, right? And so that model doesn't work. So I am happy to have a new model. I'm happy to have things being done in a different way. And if people are honest about themselves, Julie, are honest with themselves, right? You will look at on passive and see that everything is different. It is not the norm. It is not the norm to be promoting your products or your company, branding yourself on Burj Khalifa. Is that the norm? Do we see all these other companies doing that? All these partnerships that we're having, right? Do we see that in other companies? Were you with another company that was doing all of this, right? All the branding that's being done. Were you in another company that was talking about a brand new? We're not talking about a company that's been around for 30 years, Julie, or 20 years, or even 10 years. You understand? We're not talking about companies that are established. Here's a company that is brand new, a baby, right? A company that's just coming out. And so we have to look, and if we want to compare, take another company, right, that has a products that's similar to what we have in O Connect, since it's our first paid product, and compare what that company was like when they first got started, when they first opened their doors. Take a look at that and compare to where we are, because we're only a month old, right, as far as having that first paid product. But here's the thing. My daughter, my youngest, plays for a prep school for basketball, right? And so guess what? It's a new season, Julie. You have different players coming together, etc., right? The coach has to, find the right pieces to put together, to put on the floor. See who works best with each other, implement the defensive strategy, the offensive, all these different things. There's so many different moving parts that's going on. So you're not going to be playing your best, Julie, at the beginning of the season. The only way that happens is if you have a returning team where everyone is the same, nothing changes. You did well last year, so why change anything? Come this year, you do the exact same thing. But if that's not the case, Julie, you have to be able to put the pieces. And so I compared that to on passive, right? Because that team, by the time they get to the middle of the season, they're going to be a lot better than they were at the beginning of the season. And by the time they get to the end, Julie, even that much better. And that's on passive. We're at the beginning of the season now, right? So guess what? When we get to the middle, it's going to be way better than the beginning, right? And when we get to the end, and I refer to the end when people are achieving their income goals, receiving whatever goals they have in mind for themselves and their family, when they're achieving that, Julie, that's what I call the end, even though it's not the end. It's never going to end, right? But if we had to freeze it, that's where the end would be, right? And so if we understand all of that, then there is no reason for our attitude, right? And I'm not saying people's attitude are crappy or whatever. We're just talking about attitude in general, right? I'm saying these are the reasons why my attitude is always fired up, right? As you can tell by the shirt, okay? So you understand, Julie? It's just because you're so confident in what you have, right? If you have the goose that lays the golden egg, are you not going to be confident moving forward, as opposed to you're in a state of poverty, you're in a state of lack, of not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring, not knowing where my next meal is coming from, not knowing where I'm going to lay my head tonight? You understand? It's a different feeling. It's a much different feeling. And so I'm throwing it out there that's saying having an attitude, right? One filled with gratitude, one filled with positivity, is a better road to travel than having an attitude. And again, this is for anything in life, folks. Okay, doesn't matter. Take any area of your life. It's the same thing. It really is. If you're not in a relationship, you have a relationship with someone, it's the same thing. Relationship with your children, it's the same thing, right? No matter what area you can pick, whether it's spiritual, whether it's physical, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Having that right relationship with your maker, it's the same thing, folks. It makes sense to have a positive attitude as you walk through life. It just makes sense. The people that you come across, people that you meet, it just makes sense to leave a positive impact on their lives so that they can say, wow, you know what? Yeah, I remember that guy. This weekend, Julie, I just ran into someone that I haven't seen in 30 years. 30, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, that guy looks so familiar. It gotta be him, right? You know? And so, long story short, I went over, introduced myself. So listen, I know you, right? And he's looking at me. He's like, yeah, right? Because I'm pretty good with faces, Julie. If I see you 30 years from now, I'm gonna recognize you. I'm pretty good like that, right? And so, you know what I mean? We start to talk about the good old days and all these things. Again, now, if I had left a negative impact or a negative feeling towards this individual, you think we would have this cordial conversation 30 years later? We just wouldn't. You understand? And that's what I'm talking about. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what the situation, when we walk out of a situation, right? When you walk out of it, right, and you've left something positive, down the road, when you come across people, you see people, they're gonna say, hey, you know what? Yeah, that was a good guy. You know, oh, he did this for me, or I learned this from him, or I was touched by. You understand me? That's what we're talking about, being positive in all areas of our lives, because that's what life is about. That is what life is about, folks. The impact that you make in people's lives as you go through this journey, because you don't know when your clock, will expire. You don't know. It could be today, it could be a year from now, it could be 20, 50 years. You don't know. So every single day, try to be the best version of yourself.
Absolutely, Michael. I love the fact that you're so fired up talking about the attitude and talking about the impact that we are going to be leaving behind. Let's bring back the freedom equation that we talked about last week, right? Once again, freedom equation is equal to identify What is it that you love? Identify your goal, identify your why, right? And then plus taking massive focus. You stay focused on what you are identifying and then take massive action. Either learn about it, either build a plan about around it, right? Take massive action and then create the momentum. And when we having a positive attitude of what we are creating, we're putting together, we are going to have a very successful and very literally a freedom life. Now, when one is living a very positive, having a really good attitude in one's life. For example, Michael, for you here, Michael, and I see there is a gratitude that comes along with it. And that's another subject I want to talk about. Gratitude is something that you are thankful for, that you appreciate. So if you have a very if we have a very positive attitude, positive result in certain things, we'll be more gratitude, we'll be more thankful for what we have. Now, looking at on passive, it's really depend on how you are looking at on passive, how we are looking at on passive for us to have that gratitude attitude or the attitude of gratitude. I really want us to talk about it, Michael, because many of us up until this point we have feeling so gratitude toward what on passive, toward our CEO Mr. Ash Mufara is giving to us. To me, on passive is a gift that keeps on giving. So how much are we being thankful for the fact that we are in on passive in order for us to continue to give this gift away?
Yeah. I mean, to be grateful, to be thankful, for the, uh, I would say, kindness, that our CEO has shown us, right? This is how I look at it, Julie. Here's an individual that decided to go on a journey, right? And they could have, gone about it, you know, different ways, right? They didn't have to go like this. They said, you know what? I'm going to build out a company. We're going to create a whole bunch of great products, offer a lot of value to the marketplace. And you know what? I'm going to make a lot of money. Whether I make $1 million, 10 million, 100 million, whatever the number is, we're going to make a lot of money, right? Because anytime you have products that, provides value to people, people will come. They will come. There's no doubt about it. We've seen, that has happened time and time again, throughout our history, right? So, you know, this person decide that, you know what, I want to be different. I want to do it a different way, right? Instead of me building this business out and then, get a whole bunch of people to, be affiliates and go sell my products, what if I can bring some folks along for the journey, right? And when we get there, be able to share the revenue with these individuals, right? Can we do that? So rather than one person or a few individuals making all the big bucks, why not spread that around, right? Because we can, right? We can. We're building a legal, ethical business, which is going to generate revenue. And so let's find a way. Let's find the best model possible whereby we can share with others, right? Company didn't have to do that. This is why I'm thankful, right? That Mr. Mufara chose to do this, right? He knew that there will be challenges. He knew that it's not an easy road. He knew that there will be roadblocks. But regardless, right, he still decided to take that journey, right? Now, how many of us would do that, right? How many people will do that for you? How many people right now will go above and beyond for you? If you are in need right now, let's say, you know what, I can't pay my rent this month. I can't pay my mortgage this month. Who can I turn to? Do you have people in waiting that says, you know what? Yeah, sure, no problem. Here you go. Like, do you have people like that will assist you, right? If you are stuck in traffic and you can't make it to pick up your child, is there someone that you can call and they will drop what they're doing to go and take care of your situation, right? You understand, folks? Because it's not just about money. Like there's so many different examples I can give, right? I've shared this before some time ago, whereby a friend called me up, or I thought he was a friend. We weren't close because of not seeing each other for maybe about 2 years or so, right? We were in high school together. 2 years later, he just called me up out of the blue, said, "Hey, can you drive me to the airport?" The airport was about an hour and a half away, right? And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I'm not doing anything. Why not?" Now, I have not spoken to this person for like 2 years, Julie. But when we were in school, we used to hang out and all these things, right? So I thought, no big deal, right? It's kind of just pick up where we left off, so to speak, right? And I drove this individual to the airport, Julie, and end up in problems, right? I'm not gonna get into all of it, but the point is, we had some problems that he wasn't where he was supposed to be, okay? And we got turned back. We had to come back from the border. So now I have to drive another hour and a half to come back home. Now, here's the thing. I mean, I dropped everything that I was doing, right? And I said, yeah, no problem. I'll come drive you. Didn't ask no question. I didn't say, well, why do you need a ride? Why can't you find somebody else? Why did you call me? Blah, blah. None of that stuff, Julie, right? Call it naive or whatever you want to call it. But this was my attitude. Yeah, sure, buddy. No problem. I'll take you. You understand? That's what I'm talking about, Julie. Do we have people that will go to bat for us just like that? That will do that for us, right? Just, no questions asked, right? That's what we have in On Passive, Julie. We have it on passive. Someone says, you know what? I know that there's billions with a B, billions of people around the world that are in bad situations financially. Bad situations. People in villages that don't have clean water. There's people right there in America that are homeless. You see them when you walk down the street, they're there, right? I come home before I get to where I live, Julie. We have to pass through an area and we see people along the highway begging, Julie. You know what I mean? When we come up to where we are, we don't see any of that stuff. So if we never left our home, we would never see that, right? But as we make our journey out there, Julie, you start to see how other people are being impacted, right? People sleeping on cardboard boxes and so on, right? So we know that there is a need. How do you address that need? Do you just stop your car and say, here, buddy, here's $100? You think that's going to help that person, right? That may feed him for that day, but what happens to the next day and the next day and the next day? You understand? So On Passive says that we can find lifelong solutions. Lifelong solutions. So why should I not be grateful, be thankful that we have an opportunity to be able to provide help to people that's going to be lasting, Julie? Not just a Band-Aid, but to have a real positive impact in their lives. I'm excited about that, Julie. When we talk about Oh Bless, I'm excited about the things that we can do. And we don't need to wait for Oh Bless. You understand? Anytime that I can help someone, right? If I'm in a position to do so, by all means, why not? Now, we have to be mindful, okay? Because we can't help everybody, Julie, right? That just wouldn't be wise. So we also have to use wisdom, right? And then you're going to have those will come calling. It just gets messy. The bottom line is that we have a business in On Passive where we are affiliates and we can go out there and make a difference in our community. There is no doubt about that. But it does take time, Julie. It's not going to happen overnight. Where were we 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago? But all of a sudden, here we are on the cusp, right, of greatness. Remember we talked about greatness the other day? We're on the cusp of that, Julie, for so many people, where they will be able to be great in whatever their passion is, right? That's what we're talking about, folks. That's what we are grateful for, to have the opportunity to be able to participate in such a venture such as this, right? It is just amazing that we have this opportunity because many has never been in a situation like this ever in their lives. And now here we are. Here we are, Julie, finally to be able to say we can be great. So why not be grateful? Why not? Makes sense to me.
Makes a lot of sense. And I'm actually just kind of watching what you're saying and hearing what you're saying. I know we go through life with our business. We tend to get stuck at one point or many. You know, what is our attitude at that time? Are we blame somebody? Are we go out and close down our business? Or are we having changing our attitude and moving forward? And how do we do that? Let me ask you that. I know this is not an interview, but I know you're probably going through in life, you build your own business, and you're doing very well at it. But I'm very sure there is time in that journey you have found obstacle. You're stuck somewhere. Are you blaming someone? Or are you closing down your business? Or you go out there and kick this and punch that? Or are you having a better attitude and change the fact that you can do this? How do you approach that? Because I'm very sure there's several people are listening. I'm very sure they're going through something, even as small as I can't log into my email, right? What's the attitude, Michael?
Well, this is the thing, Julie. I've lost millions of dollars, right? It's not a secret, okay? Millions. You understand? There are people around this world that have lost millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. You understand? People around the world. We know the different things that have come and gone. Okay, where billions of dollars, went down the drain and stuff like that, right? But do you sit around and looking for blood? You know what I mean? Or do you dust yourself off, right? Do you dust yourself off and say, okay, how can I resolve this? Right? Whether it takes me 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, right? You understand me? That's my attitude, is to say, you know what? What's gone is gone. It's not in my control. I can't control that, Julie, right? Mm-hmm. So let me focus on how I can find a solution. What can I do to solve that problem? You understand me? What can I do to make things better? And so I'm going to focus on that, Julie, right? And I believe, right? Not believe, I know, right, for a fact that with success comes failure, right? In order to get to that success place that you're looking for, there will be failure in your life. I was with a company years ago, Julie, and we created, I think it was like over 300 millionaires, right? And, for some of those individuals, they failed for like 20, 30, 40 years, Julie. You understand? They failed, try this, fail, fail. And finally, Julie, now they're making $1 million a year or more. You understand? Finally. Now, for them, that was success, right? They've never had that type of success before. You know what I mean? Right? And so, did they give up? Did they quit? You know what I mean? Did they stop? Did they walk away? Or did they dust themselves off and says, you know what? Let's go again. Let's go again. And that goes for whether something is big or something is small. If I'm doing math, okay, I took calculus in school. So I'm doing, a particular equation or whatever, and I'm stuck, Julie. Do I just say, this is too difficult, let me walk away? Let me forget it. Math is just not for me. Or do I spend some time, buckle down, and try to solve it? Get help where I can get help. You know what I mean? And go again, right? My son is doing engineering right now. So, okay, he's going to have a few calculus courses. You know what I mean? He's going to have a few physics scores, stats, mechanics, all these things, right? Okay. So what am I to teach him? Buddy, okay, you're stuck or you're finding it hard. Oh, just quit. Just give up. Just walk away. No, you got to put the effort in, right? Let's go back to sports. You get an injury, right? Paul George, if anyone follows NBA basketball, Paul George, when he had his injury a few years ago, everyone thought he was done. This is it. He ain't coming back from that one, buddy. You know what I mean? But yet he did, right? And to come back at such high level. Just last night, if anyone follows football, the Kansas City Chiefs was playing, right? And Travis Kelce, everybody knows about Kelce and that lady, all that's going on in social media, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All of a sudden now he goes down and they're like, oh boy, he's not coming back in this game. You know what I mean? And so they thought that the Chiefs gonna have a rough time trying to win this game. But what did he do? Right? They took him, they got an x-ray done, blah, blah, blah. He comes and he's back in the game. They're like, what? How's this guy back in the game? And he came back in the game, Julie, and he made a positive impact to help his team seal the victory. You understand? I'm just saying, in the midst of adversity, folks, when something is in your way, you don't just buckle down and say, woe is me, forget about it. I can't be bothered. I've had people, Julie, recently that have approached me in on passive, and they're like, oh, I don't have time to follow along. I don't have time to pay attention. And I'm thinking, these people are crazy. I am thinking they are crazy. So many people search all their lives, Julie, to find that winning formula. You understand me? And you finally have it in your hands, and then you're saying you don't have time to pay attention? Are you kidding me? It's unbelievable. But again, we can't force people. Each person, they have to make up their own mind. They have to make up their own decision. I know what I'm doing. I know what my family's doing. I know what my friends who are involved are doing, etc. You understand? Because this just makes sense, Julie. It makes sense. Failure is not an option. We don't buckle down in the face of failure. We don't let fear creep in. We don't let distractions creep in. We just don't. We slap it aside, Julie, and says, hey, we got somewhere to get to. We have a goal to achieve, and we're going to achieve it regardless of what comes in our way. We're not going to let anything stop us from our prize. And I encourage everyone to think that way. Why? Because we are grateful for this opportunity, Julie. We are so thankful that this has come our way. Not everyone has this opportunity. Not everyone is an early adopter in on passive. 1.4 million and change. That's it. There's going to be hundreds of millions of people that will come as customers, pure customers, just to use the product. Not because you may see, oh, there's a glitch here, or there's a problem here, or this or that, or issue, whatever you want to call it. That doesn't mean, because it doesn't define us. That's just part of the process, right? It's part of the process. You're building a home. All of a sudden you run out of, I don't know, bricks. You say, oh, can't finish the house because we ain't got no bricks. Oh my gosh. Or you bought a home and you move in. Oh, the showers are not working in this house, so I can't shower. So we need to put it up on the market and go sell it. You know what I mean? Like, we just don't we find a solution, Julie. Find a solution, right? That's the way to do it. And that's what successful people before us have done. So we have that roadmap to follow. So why shouldn't we follow it? Because when we get there, Julie, we're going to look back and all of this will be a thing of the past. We're going to look back and celebrate and be so grateful then. But why wait for then? You know what I mean? It's like you wait to tell someone that you love them only to see them pass away before you had that opportunity to share your love to that, with that person. Why wait? Tell them now that you love them, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We just take these things for granted, Julie. You understand? Listen, on passive is the only way. It is the only way. As far as helping you and your family with your finances, it is the only way. It's the only company that cares more about your success than you do about your own success. Think about that one. Take that one in and see. Yes, I am grateful.
Me too. I am grateful. And because of us having a very great positive attitude of what we're doing, we will get there. We already there, but we will get there in a greater way. So everyone, there is nothing more powerful than having a great attitude. Our attitude is what determines the kind of life that we are going to have. We have choice to make every day, right? Whether or not to live with a great positive attitude, or having a negative, or blaming someone else in our life or things that happen in our life. Attitude is so much more important than our past, our education, our talenting, our talented, our financial situation, our success or our failure. It's more important than our literally giftedness or not. I believe that attitude can bring someone to have a great life or a failure life. also talking about attitude in our business. Our CEO, our executive team who has a positive attitude, a determination attitude, in order for us to make it. Because imagine if our CEO, our team facing, problems every day, right? They have to solve a lot. If they have a negative attitude, do you think we are still here? Right, Michael? I
Mm,
mean,
yeah. Yeah.
having a great attitude will lead us into having great gratitude in our life. And I'm so grateful to be here, to be part of the on passive movement, and just to be here because through this, this journey, I was able to move forward from, I don't know, I haven't told this story to a lot of people, but I want to take this opportunity to share about this. About 3 years ago, I lost $20,000 in Bitcoin through something that I love dearly, right? What is my attitude at that time? Am I going to blame myself? Am I going to blame somebody? Am I going to have a negative? If I had that negative attitude at that time, I don't think I would have been here. I would have been here, right? My attitude
Mhm.
at that time was accepting the fact that, that it happened, right? You accept it that it happened and you move forward, right? Even though it's hard to move forward because that 20,000 was all I had, right? I can either blame myself, I can either having, a very bad attitude, cry about the things that I do, the decision that I made. But because of having that positive attitude of moving forward, I was able to understand, I was able to enjoy the journey that I'm traveling. And at this point, all I am doing right now is having that gratitude, having that appreciation, being grateful for what's given, and being grateful to understand on passive, being grateful and having a very positive attitude to hopefully to influence someone, right? Influence in a way of helping them to have a better life. And that's, I believe, that if anyone who are in on passive understand what on passive is a gift that keeps on giving, we will continue to use that positive attitude to influence other people to move forward. And that's my thought, and I won't change it.
Well, this is why on passive is more than just a business. It's more than just money, Julie. You
Mhm.
know, to me, it's a good thing when you can join a business and you're getting so much more out of it, right, than what you came in for,
Mhm.
right? It's a good thing. You know, there are a lot of life lessons to be learned, right? A lot, and when you have a business such as this, where you have, others that are giving you great examples, positive, role models, mentors, leadership, whatever you want to call it, right? But just being in that positive atmosphere, right? Just being in a room full of positivity, that's a good thing. Years ago, people would say, they enjoyed logging into their old founders' back office, and to be able to go through the chats and just read all the positive messages that were there, people encouraging each other and all this stuff. Because maybe your life is fantastic, maybe your life is perfect, maybe your life is great, but there are millions of people where that is not the case, and I would say billions with a B, where it's not the case. There are some horrific things that are happening right now, you know, and while it just popped into my mind, happy Thanksgiving to all our Canadians, out there. Okay. And certainly we want to pray for all those in Israel, all those that are impacted by war around the globe. Some people have it very difficult. There are children right now who struggle to go to school each day. because they don't know if they'll make it back home. You understand? So sometimes when we look at our lives and what we're struggling with, it's nothing compared to what someone else have to go through. When I can get into my comfortable car and drive home or whatever, people have to take a long treacherous journey, right? My wife loved watching these things on YouTube. Okay, and when I see some of the roads that people have to, I'm like, sorry, that just wouldn't be me. I would not be crossing that. I'm gonna be stuck on this side because I'm not crossing over to the other side based upon what I see that road looks like. Okay, and yet people do it on a daily basis. You know what I mean? So there's so much that we can be thankful for, but there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people that have it really, really rough, and we have to realize that, right? And so, not because we think our life is perfect and everything is great with us, don't mean that others are not having it difficult. So we have to be able to see that and recognize that and appreciate exactly what it is, because we take so much for granted, like so much. You know what I mean? Just in North America, the amount of food that we waste, right? We buy grocery and the grocery spoil because we didn't eat all the bananas, whatever. You know what I mean? We take so much for granted, right? Yes, we have life. All of us have life, but we don't have life the same way. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And my hope, my goal, is to be able to bring as many up as possible, right?
Absolutely.
To give people the choice to experience what life is really about, not to go around just existing with little, right? There's so much abundance, right? Eh, There's so much that is there in this life, in this physical life, right? For us all to achieve and to experience in a positive way. And yet, so many of us, we come and we end up in the grave and never experience that. For some people, it's always been difficult, 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 right up until the end. You know what I mean? People who are sickened with different diseases, cancer, people who have heart problem, people who are diabetic, and the list goes on and on, folks. There's so much, right? People who live where every night they hear gunshots, right? People live in a high crime infested area. You understand? People who are molested, people who are trafficked. Like there's so much, right? This life is not an easy life. So when you have the opportunity to be in a positive situation, why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you? And so that's what I find in non-passive, and that's why I'll continue to, gather people and bring people into the unpassive family. Why? Because it's a positive environment for them. It is an environment whereby they can live life to its fullest. It's an environment where they can experience what few have experienced in this life, right? And we can make that family bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. If we can, why not? Why not? Right? And so that's why I choose to have that attitude, Julie, right? Of positivity. I choose to have an attitude of gratitude, right? I choose not to walk around just thinking just about myself, right? But thinking of others, Julie, thinking of others, because that's what I would want. If I was in their shoes, I would want someone somewhere to be thinking about me and to be able to offer me the opportunity to uplift myself, not looking for handouts, but looking for a way to help myself. And that's what we're providing to people, Julie. We're not giving them handouts. We're giving them a way that they can actually have a realistic chance, a realistic way of helping themselves and their family for the rest of their life. That's what we talk about, having a family dynasty, right? Building a business that's going to provide for them for generations to come. That's what we're talking about, Julie. And that's why I love On Passive. I love the people them that are in it, and I'll continue to work on their behalf, right? Until we all accomplish what it is that we came here to accomplish.
Absolutely. I love this conversation, Michael. Um, I also wanted to point it out the fact that having a great attitude is more like an inner thing, like, our inner self, and having the attitude that brings out the outer self of how we act toward other. And so, in order for have that really great attitude from inner self, um, we need to have a good positive thinking, good mindset. Um, and the way how we do it, my brother gave me an advice years ago. He said, every single day you have to reflect on your day, reflect on your life. And when you are doing that reflection at the end of the day, you will have more energy, more positive attitude, and you'll be more grateful for what you are receiving. And so I just want to share my brother's advice to everyone. If you're currently facing things hard in life, having a great attitude, a positive attitude, I believe it would make a big difference. It will get you out of that situation, right? So determine, why are we here? Why do we do the things that we do? It's another way of working from the inner self. And we all understand the fact that on passive is giving us the opportunity to be the best version of ourselves. And being the best version of ourselves, it has to come from within than from the outside, right? And we do have this opportunity, this gift in our hand, and that gift is keeps on giving. And how do we give this gift of on passive to other people? By sharing free accounts, right? As simple as that, right? Yeah, it's as simple as that. And by sharing it, what do you see on passive, and share like what you're seeing on passive. Um, Michael, it's a great topic.
Yeah. The fact that we're in the land of the living, okay, the fact that we're still alive, right, it gives us hope, Julie. Once we're in the grave, there is no hope,
Yeah.
as far as what you can accomplish in this life. Okay. It's over at that point, right? But the fact that we are alive, it gives us that hope. It gives us the opportunity to make a good choice, for ourselves and our family. And so I'm grateful for life itself. I'm
Mhm.
grateful for the breath that I breathe. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for our children, and so on. There's lots that we can be grateful for. Again, it's not always about finances, not always about money. We talk about that because we are in a business. Okay, so it only makes sense to talk about that as well. But at the end of the day, we're grateful for the people. I'm grateful for you, Julie. The people that we have in our lives, the people that we talk to on a regular basis, and so on. That's all part of our life experience, right? It really is. And so it's an excellent topic. We should always be reflecting on our attitude. It could be your attitude in a relationship, right? You understand? It could be how was your attitude with your children, if you have children, your attitude with your parents, and so on, co-workers, your attitude with your spiritual advisor, your attitude in your church, your temple, your mosque, whatever the case may be. There's so much that we can reflect on. So yeah, it certainly is good to reflect, whether it's every day, whether it's once a week, once a month, whatever the case may be. But we should do it often, and just try to be, as Julie said, the best version of ourselves. You know, it works, folks. It makes sense to do just that. It makes sense to be positive in life, and give it a try. If you haven't done it, try going an entire day by being positive, no matter what happens to you that day. Just be positive. And then at the end of the day, before you go to sleep, reflect on how your day was, right? And if it was a good experience, do it the next day, just one day at a time, right? And do it the next day. And before you know it, you'd have gone a whole week by being positive, no matter what, confronted you, right? And then at the end of that week, you take a reflection, right? See how that week was. Compare that week to the previous week, right? Compare that day that you were positive all day to the day before that you weren't positive. Just compare it. I'm telling you, these little things, folks, is going to make a big difference in your life. Okay? Because something is great is coming. Something great is coming, and you want to be prepared for it. So start getting ready now. Start preparing yourself now. You want to put yourself in a positive space because that's where you're going to truly experience greatness. That's where you're going to truly experience all that life has to offer, right? It's coming, folks. It really is. This is not some pipe dream, some figment of your imagination or anything like that. Okay? It's reality, right? It's your reality. Okay? But are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Will you know what to do when it comes? Right? Open yourself up for success. Open yourself up for it, to receive it, to embrace it. Right? And you will see the difference in your walk, in your talk, in your attitude. Okay? You will see the difference. Right? Because I've been there. Right? I've been there when things, weren't great. Right? I've been there where you're at the bottom. You know what I mean? I don't think there was any, other than being 6 feet under. I don't think there was any lower you can get, Julie. You know what I mean? Right? But you find a way. Right? You just, sometimes it's just a matter of focus on what's really important to you, and you hold on to that. Right? And that will get you through. That will get you through. Right? But yeah, I love the topic today, Julie. I really do.
I do too. I love the fact that we could, make choice every single day. We should be grateful for it. And everyone, if you take the challenge that Michael brought up, go through your day with a positive attitude, I bet you by the end of the day, you're like, what a fast day, like, right? And then when you enjoy that so much, you ask yourself, oh, I want more of it, you know? So let's have more of it by changing our attitude throughout our day. And the next topic we're going to talk about, are you ready for it? We're going to talk about the it factor. All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming in here and kind of listen to our discussion. I think it's a great topic, and we do hope that you found some values in what you're listening today. And please subscribe. We're going to do this every week. And when you are in our YouTube channel, you're going to see, our playlist. This is probably our 30 something